Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Center.
Spurs wrap up their rodeo road trip tomorrow night when they take on the Grizzlies in Memphis at 7 as they look to snap a 4-game losing streak, then return home for the first time in over a month when they play on Sunday. Speaking of the Spurs, they're signing center Bismack Biyombo for the remainder of the season following the conclusion of his second Fin-Day contract. And in the parking lot 40, well, I ran a 5.44.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Danger?
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me, however you may be joining, whether that's 94.1 on your FM dial. If you happen to be listening online via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. However you're tuning in, if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment along with the show there. Just go to YouTube, search at SA Sports Star. You can like, subscribe, follow along with the show, talk along with the show, like Fred Casares, who's wondering where the video of my 40 is. It's on Twitter right now at SA Sports Star. Fred Villarreal says, "Hey, Mr. Flash, what's happening? Hope everybody's doing all right." Managed to keep it lower. I want to go lower, so I may have to start training. But as the Blitz was finishing their conversation talking about LeBron and the weird energy and being the face of the league, one of those faces of the league right now is Steph Curry, who went absolutely insane last night. And it is impressive what he has done at his size, changing kind of the way the game is played in a sense. And the morning huddle this morning with AJ and Rob, we're talking about Steph and his greatness and what it's meant and what it's doing to the NBA this morning on the morning huddle.
Speaking of a fun time, we saw fun Steph Curry last night. What a showing. I guess Steph Curry has the kind of game that is going to last. You know what I mean? It's the kind of game that I guess you can even at an older age, you can make work. Yeah. But 56 points last night? Well, seventh, right? I mean, what? And that includes a 56 points, including a 56-foot shot that went in. And Draymond said as soon as he saw it leave his hand, he's like, "Oh, that's in. It's done." But like
12 threes? 12 threes, is that what it was?
That was he, and it's weird. He took a shot from beyond midcourt. Like, I don't understand.
He's touched by God. There's just what the things he can do, no human has ever been able to do before. And it's what I think is absolutely magical about this is something that he refined himself. It's not like he was born jumping 50 inches in the air and, learned how to dunk.
He doesn't have the, like, when you're looking at guys, you're picking up random guys in a pickup game. When you see Steph Curry, he's not going to be the first guy you take. No. He's probably not going to be. He might be the last guy. He might not even be one of the guys taken. He's going to have to sit there and go next because nobody wants him.
And keep in mind, the shot that he uses, that form, was not even something he came into college with. This is something that he and his family and his coaches refined. It's one of those things that kids can see, and it's repeatable. I mean, this is something that Now, he got a little bit extra. The things that he can do truly are unique, but it's not like this is the first time in, that apart from a pure free throw shooter, a guy who hits 99 out of 100 because he practices that much, where you can actually see a skill set that can transfer to kids. You go, man, if you work hard enough, you too can hit 35-foot jumpers on the regular if you do it right, because the form follows function. And he's perfect, and it works.
Yeah, 56 points on 16 of 25 from the field, including 12 of 19 from three.
Draymond at the All-Star game.
12 of 12 from the line, by the way.
Remember Draymond sitting at the All-Star game? We kind of giggled. He said, man, we're practicing. Let me tell you something. He this is a guy who's seen what title teams look like. Said, we're going to be in this thing.
Yes.
Now, he actually said we're going to win it. Now, and we kind of laughed. Now, they're not going to win it. I mean, it would be one of the greatest sports stories of all time if they do. But you can see when you got a guy like Steph who can get on a heater and go for a month and miss 10 shots, that you can chase it.
Well, yeah. And even when you've got a guy like Steph, it covers up everything.
Everything.
Last night, the other four starters for the Warriors, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody, and Brandon Podziemski, combined to go 8 for 32 from the field. 20. Now, I'm not talking about from three, from the floor. They shot 25%, the other four starters. And they still won the game by 6 points because Steph Curry went into God mode. 56 out of the 121 points came out of his hand. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't know if Steph Curry will be appreciated for what he is long term. When he's gone, are we going to remember Steph Curry as one of the 10 best players ever?
Yes, because there's an entire generation of guys that have become Steph Curry, that have done everything that Steph has done. And the first was Trey, but really the generation that's going to truly represent what Steph brought isn't in the pros yet. They're about 15 years old, 14, 15. That generation, this is the greatest shooting generation ever come up.
I just don't I don't know where he's going to land in the is he going to be looked at as a better player than Kevin Durant?
I think he'll be thought of as he's in it's the other way around. He's in a higher esteem than Durant.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
He's in the conversation as one of the top 3 point guards to ever set foot on the ground.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it's Steph, Magic, and Isaiah. That's the three. That's the standard for your point guard. Now there's Iverson and there's a bunch of other dudes that step in there, and there's different sizes and different skill sets. And I think Durant falls in that room too. But Steph is as big a player in the pantheon of the game. If there was a Mount Rushmore, he's on it. And last night just proved yet again that we happen to be in an era of a couple, 3 or 4 generational dudes that we're about to kind of hand the baton off, but it's not done yet.
Yeah. I mean, every time I see Steph Curry do something like this, I'm just kind of like,
and it's so,
and it is like when LeBron occasionally has these kind of games where he randomly puts up a 50 spot. Mostly I'm wowed by it because he's at this point, he's in his 40s and he's doing that. And it's like, wow, man, I can't believe this dude's this good in his 40s. But with Steph, it's different. It just feels like this guy he's just got this magical power where when he shoots the ball, you just know it's going in. And
there's a grace to his game that you just
is so fun to watch, man, when he is on.
And it's galling and it's aggravating as an anti when you're on the other side of it, because you just feel like there's nothing we can do. I step up to play defense, he just takes another step back. There's literally nothing I can do tonight. He is going to go get it, and we're going to have to sit and watch this just absolute perfection, precise and graceful and just ideal to those that like the modern game.
Yeah.
That appreciate that.
I still stand by the 2014, 15-ish. Yeah, I'll go back to 14. That was the year that 2014 is the year the Spurs won it, right?
That was the last time, yeah.
Okay. That was the year where, I mean, the Warriors weren't the best team, but they were easily the most fun team to watch.
See it coming.
And I was like, this team is going to win. Mm-hmm. And from then on, they were just so good. But it was the most fun thing to watch.
You're right. And it's easily duplicatable if you put in the work, but you got to understand the amount of work that Steph puts in to being as great as he is. And that's the problem, is a lot of people don't realize the work that goes into what he does, and they're just hawking threes. And that's kind of what made the game what it is right now. It's kind of made it almost untenable to watch at times, especially as a Spurs fan, when you're watching them chuck up 43s and hit like 10 to 15. It's a different mindset, and it's a different mindset being the face of the league. And I'll tell you this, I'm not writing Golden State off. They look reinvigorated since the Jimmy Butler trade. And that is something else. Speaking of faces of the league, Cowboy James wanted to get in and talk about faces of the league. What's going on, Cowboy James?
Hey, Pledge, man, I'd like to thank you for taking my call, man. Once again, congratulations on your 40th time. You know, I'm calling because I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with Joe talking about LeBron being a crybaby over being the face of the league. Not everybody is built for that. You know, some people just want to collect their check and go home and not have a microphone stuck in their face everywhere they go. You know, LeBron's done it for 20 years with no blemish. The chosen one. 20 years, no blemish. But it's
coming out of high school, he was the chosen one.
Yes.
How many people carry that kind of burden?
Exactly. And it doesn't only affect him, it affects his family also. You know, when you're being criticized, your family's sitting in a coffee shop and overhearing people talking about your dad. And then you got to go home and, Dad, why are they talking about you? That's a big burden to carry. And some people, hey, they just want to collect their check, do their job, collect the check, and go home and, hey, come back tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But LeBron didn't get that choice. It was thrown upon him. He's accepted it. He's handled it with integrity, honor, respect. You can't say one bad thing about him, whether you like him, dislike him, whether he's the greatest or Jordan's the greatest. And I'm a LeBron fan, but hey, I still think Jordan is the greatest. Yep. But I've always been a LeBron supporter from day one. And so I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with my man Joe.
I get it. And let's be honest, being the face of a league is a heavy burden, and you got to be wired a certain way to deal with it. And the person that I think, if his ascension continues the way we think it should, and he comes out from this blood clot just fine,
Wemby.
That's Wemby.
Yes,
he's built.
That's Wemby.
He's built to be the face of a league with
how
he carries himself and has carried himself since he was like 14.
Yes. He's been a face for a long time. So yes, he could handle that. He could definitely handle that. But players, I thank you for taking my call, man. And we definitely want to see our guy Wemby get better. And that responsibility, I think he could handle.
I do too. Thanks for the call, Cowboy James. Always appreciate you, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, man. Look, face of the league is a burden, and it's thrust upon some people. And luckily, the people it has been thrust upon previously, Bird and Magic, Michael, and then Kobe, and even now LeBron, have all had the shoulders to carry that mantle for this league, and even Steph to an extent. And now we're entering a new phase. And remember, post Michael, before LeBron became LeBron, there was a void in the league, and it was felt. So, man, luckily it looks like they've got at least, if not one of the next faces of the league, a couple of good candidates lined up to help carry the burden once LeBron actually does finally call it a day playing basketball. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. Since we're talking basketball, how about I hook you up with a pair of tickets to go check out the College Slam Dunk and 3-Point Championships. That's right. Final Four is going to be in town. So out at the Frost Bank Center on April 3rd, collegiately, they will have their slam dunk and 3-point championships out at the Frost Bank Center. I've got a chance for y'all to go check it out. If you're caller number 5 right now, seeing as I ran a 544 in my parking lot 40 earlier today, you get those tickets. Caller 5, 656 ESPN, 210-656-3776. When we come back, Shams broke some news about Pop. And if you read between the lines, I don't know how great that news is. We'll get into it coming up here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, Spurs come back from the long and lonely rodeo road trip. What did we see and what do we expect this week?
And in the NFL Combine, we got to talk about who threw well, who didn't throw, who ran fast, who didn't run, all that and more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATS.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. TikTok at I am Pledger. You can follow the station on all those at SA Sports Star. You can watch the show on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Comment along. I appreciate everybody for rolling along with me tonight as I get you into your weekend. Very interesting. Yesterday, we got the release from Spurs head coach Greg Popovich on hoping to be able to return to coaching at some point. And after that, we got a report from Shams Charania talking about Pop and the future of him and the Spurs organization. And earlier today on the Blitz, Jason and Joe were talking about that, and it leaves the future of the Spurs very muddled at this point.
The Greg Popovich news yesterday, the statement that Pop released, and I got hung up on the words the word hope. He hopes to return. And I'm more concerned now about Pop than I was a couple of days ago, based on the Shams Charania report on the team meeting that Pop had with his players.
I'm told it was an emotional meeting between Greg Popovich and all of his players for the first time since he suffered the stroke in November. My understanding, tears were shed because players saw their coach, who was clearly recovering from a stroke, still rehabbing, and they saw the physical signs of someone who has had hindrance, something that's clearly hindering him from the stroke. And this is someone in Greg Popovich, guys, he wants to coach. He badly still wants to be out there. And that's what players see, is someone that had his life and what he's wanted from a professional perspective being taken away, his joy for coaching. And a lot of the meeting was also filled with typical Pop, and that's motivational messages. That's the wit. That's critique. That's praise. And advice for players. But this is someone that made it clear, Greg Popovich, he's not going to be coming back this season.
Yeah.
Mitch Johnson is going to be the coach for now. And Greg Popovich's NBA future remains uncertain.
You know, the one part of that, and it may have you play just the first part of that again, Pledge, because listen, Shams said something he was trying to be very cautious in what he was saying. He was, and it's obvious that he hesitates and he can't say. He knows exactly, whoever his source is, whether it's a player or an assistant coach or whomever, that's where he's getting this from. And so just play the first part of that again, Pledge.
I'm told it was an emotional meeting between Greg Popovich and all of his players for the first time since he suffered the stroke in November. My understanding, tears were shed because players saw their coach, who was clearly recovering from a stroke, still rehabbing, and they saw the physical signs of someone who has had hindrance, something that's clearly hindering him from the stroke. And this
that right there, yeah. You get that same feeling. I mean, he was trying to be really careful about what he was saying there, because I think whoever was his source was telling him, look, don't say what it is, but there's something really going on with Pop.
And again, saw the physical sign. And again, anybody that's ever been around somebody that has suffered a stroke, sometimes it's the slurred speech or the droopiness of a side of the face, eye, mouth, maybe an arm or something isn't right. What surprises me is about a month or so ago, or a couple weeks ago, there were the reports that he was hoping to return to the bench and coach after the All-Star break. So was there something in the rehab process that, sports terms, did he have a setback? Or was he progressing and thinking, okay, if I keep progressing at this rate, I should be good to go here? And, he plateaued in his rehab process to this point, so it's going to require more time. We don't know, and we're speculating, and I hate to do that when you're talking about a man's health. But at the same time, while it is a very private matter for Greg Popovich, he is a very public figure, obviously beloved in San Antonio, but in the NBA community, and the concern is there. That report from Shams, with how carefully he was trying to word everything, makes me more concerned for Pop than I was a couple of days ago on what his current status actually is.
I don't think there's any question. I don't see how you can come out of that with anything else. An emotional meeting, and the players saw, were Shams' words, the physical side of somebody that's had a stroke, and he's trying to be really careful with that. And I think that, to me, concerns me. I mean, it really does. Look, I said yesterday, I don't think Pop's coming back. And now I really feel that way. And it's sad for me, because this man is going to go down as one of the greatest NBA coaches of all time. There's no question about that. Whether he coaches another game or not, he is one of the best. There's absolutely no question about that. And the fact that he can't go out on his own terms, but life happens.
Yep.
And it happens to everybody, and it happened to Pop, and it's unfortunate and it's sad, but it certainly doesn't change his legacy, not one bit.
No, and I think about the statement yesterday, the last line, I will continue to focus on my health with the hope that I can return to coaching in the future. And I'm hung up on hope. I could focus on return to coaching in the future, because I still think that's probably his big motivation through the rehab process, and that's huge. But he also said in the statement, and this concerned me, Mitch Johnson and his staff have done a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Because we've all been watching, and I think most of us would disagree with that. Although under the circumstances, what else do I expect Pop to say in a statement about what Mitch has done? Although Shams did say, and again, a guy that was very careful with the way he chose words about Mitch Johnson.
Mitch Johnson is going to be the coach for now.
For now.
Well, look, watching Mitch, even then, I mean, I can't imagine a scenario, and quite frankly, where Mitch Johnson is the head coach moving forward, unless the Spurs just made this miraculous comeback and rallied and were went to the NBA Finals. I can't see it happening any other way. So Mitch Johnson won't be the coach. If Pop can't come back, I honestly think the Spurs are going to get a veteran head coach in here that can lead this team. It's just too important at this point in time. Too important. You've got your young players. You've got a De'Aaron Fox you traded for. You're going to get another high lottery pick. And so, look, it's just too important. You need somebody in here that can put this team together and have them moving forward. And I don't think Pop would want anything else.
Well, and I just got a tweet saying those reports have to come back are obviously fake. They might have been, but there were reports out there from some fairly reputable reporters. So with the Spurs, they are so tight-lipped. Quite honestly, I'm a little surprised we're getting what we are from Shams.
Yeah.
To be honest. And Chris Haynes was the first to break the news about Pop having the team meeting yesterday with his players, and what was obviously very emotional. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger getting ready for his 40. Ryan, our digital expert guy, has got his video camera. We're ready to go in the parking lot and create some content. Pledge, you ready to run the 40?
He's ready. Look at that.
Now, a lot of people on our YouTube channel have guessed your 40 time. What do you anticipate, Pledge? What is your goal to go out in the parking lot and run a 40?
If I don't get under 6, I'm going to be extremely
under 6.
Under 6.
Wow.
I don't think you could go under 8.
I'm taking the over on that.
Yeah, but Pledge has set the over under on 6. So get your wagers in, even though that's illegal in Texas.
Spoiler, I ran a 5.44. So things went well, better than expected. I think I can do better. I obviously would love to get under 5 if I could, back down into the 4.9 range at some point. But we'll see if I decide to train for something like that. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star. And the stuff about Pop is very concerning in terms of what's next, because I'm not sure where you go moving forward if you base your future on Pop is coming back at some point and you continue to run this thing out, or maybe find an interim for Mitch and maybe slide over a Brett Brown moving forward until Pop can return. But at some point, the future of the organization has to be addressed, and you have to figure out what that future is for guys like De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle, and maybe start kicking around names, and whether that's Amani Williams or a veteran coach, or if you're going in a different route and maybe trying to lure someone that's used to talking to younger players, since we have such a young team, like a Jay Wright, the former head coach at Villanova, or Stephon Castle's former head coach, and Dan Hurley. He flirted with the NBA this past offseason with the Lakers. Could the Spurs potentially make a run at him? It's going to be very interesting to see how this offseason plays out, more so than the draft and free agency and anything else, just to see what the future direction of this organization is going to be. What are your thoughts? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. When we come back, the NFL Scouting Combine is here, and over the weekend, well, The stars will take the field, at least some of them. The quarterbacks, they're pretty much the stars of the scouting combine. People love to watch the throwing section and the 40-yard dashes for the receivers and skill positions. That's all happening this weekend. But there are a couple of quarterbacks at the top, and Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, who won't be throwing. What does that mean for guys that will be throwing? And how do you look at building a team with this quarterback class? Morning Huddle was talking about it. We'll talk about it next, right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
GiveMeTheVin.com salutes must-see TV. On this day in 1983, the final episode of MASH aired to an estimated audience of 106 million viewers. Of course, the most identifiable props in MASH were the army of Willis Jeeps used in every episode. And Jeeps have come a long way, from the CJ4 to the Wrangler, Cherokee, and Grand Wagoneer. If you're a Jeep lover, we want to buy yours at GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best Jeep buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Check out the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah, check out the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ from 6 to 10 weekday mornings here on San Antonio Sports Star. You miss great conversation with them. And funny stuff, too. Including a conversation they had this morning. They were talking about the quarterbacks in the draft and how you kind of build when looking at a quarterback crop, much like this one coming up in the NFL draft.
Do you see teams trading up like to get these quarterbacks, or do you like think about what teams have given up in the past to trade up? We're talking like multiple firsts.
Yeah, and no, I wouldn't shock me. You only need one.
It would shock me.
Well,
it really would shock me if anybody looked at these quarterbacks
Absolutely.
and said, "I've got to give up future drafts to get these." Like, that's why it shocked me when the Panthers traded up to get Bryce Young. I was like, no way.
Well, there is part of it. Like, I'm only going to be GM for so long. I got to swing for the fences. And if I don't get a quarterback now, I'm going to be out of here in 3 years, no matter what. So I'm going to waste all my capital on this. I get it. You only need one team to do it. The one variable this year that I don't think a lot of people expected was the availability of a couple of higher end old quarterbacks that might not force you to go draft a quarterback right now. You can go find a bridge. You might have to pay for it, but there's guys floating around like Cousins and Stafford, and it appears Derek Carr might be available if you go to Darnold. So I don't necessarily this year above all need to really take a huge risk. So the likelihood I think is less than most years, or at least now less now that Stafford's kind of floating around out there. But it only takes one crazy cat to completely throw this thing off.
It does.
You know what I mean? So one dude, it might be
one who gets a wild hair, and
it might be Mickey there in New Orleans. It might be somebody decides to jump up and go chase a quarterback, and then it's just like your fantasy football draft. Then there's suddenly a run, even though it doesn't make any sense.
And again, the Raiders wouldn't shock me. They do things crazy all the time, but
well, what would you? I would if it was me. And I don't know, just name your average to bad team. And you go, would you draft one of those guys and get locked into them for 5 years because first round draft pick? Or would you rather go pay Kirk Cousins a whole lot for a year and figure out next year? I'd rather pay Cousins a year. I look at this as a kind of a delay. I like this.
This is what I was saying about the Titans, who have the very first pick. I can either draft Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, and that's my quarterback for the next 5 years. Or next year, I know if I draft Cam Ward this year, I'm gonna win 5 games if things go well, and I'll be picking high again next year. Or I can draft the best player that's out there and probably still win 4 or 5 games and have a lot better shot at. I shouldn't say you'll have a lot better group of quarterbacks to choose from next year, presumably.
And I mean, whether you go get another one, or you just play the dude you drafted 2 years ago and let him play out the string, you're still going to be about the same place. So I don't think it'll be radical that there's going to be a lot of movement up there. But I promise you, there's a GM sitting in his office today scheming.
I will say this though, the way, and it's so rare, but we've seen it now back-to-back years. Quarterbacks come in and have such an instant impact. CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels had such massive early impact.
For it to happen 2 years in a row.
That maybe it's going to convince teams like, oh, this is the way. I mean, the long-term history says it doesn't happen that way.
Not, and that's why I'm so gun shy. I've seen it happen 2 years in a row. The chances of it happening for a third, even smaller.
I mean, we've just seen probably the 2 best rookie seasons from a quarterback in history happen in back-to-back years. Ironically, neither one of them was the first pick in the draft. I think that last year's draft and the year before's draft were in a totally different stratosphere than this year's draft class, the quarterback class. I don't see it with Cam. You know what though? And here's the thing about Cam Ward, and I know that Cam Ward has a lot of supporters here in this town. So I'm not like trying to badmouth Cam Ward like he's going to be a bust in the NFL. I would just never in a million years take him with a top 5 pick. Cam Ward was one of these
taken in the top
he 100% will. But Cam Ward was a 0-star recruit who started out at a very, very small school, not a D1 football program, and worked his way up to what he is. And a lot of people are going to look at that and go, so is Josh Allen. And maybe that's what
and there's some Josh Allen to him. There's some gunslinger to him that wasn't ever beaten out of him. There's something about getting good late that allowed him to make those kind of decisions that you kind of beat out of the young quarterback and you allow from the older maturing quarterback. And Cam was able to kind of to start that way. And there's something to that kind of game that will translate to the pros. And I think there's some freedom from being that. But the moment any scout starts to apply Cam Ward to Josh Allen, go hire another scout. He's not Josh Allen.
The road to Josh Allen is littered with Trey Lances. That's what I would warn you about.
As soon as your scout says he reminds me a lot of Josh Allen, let me tell you why. Walk out of the room. He's not. So, but he is this year's Josh Allen, and that's worth the top 5 pick.
Again, I think this is going to be this quarterback class is going to get a couple guys fired.
And keep in mind, though, the GM at Tennessee goes, "What do you think? It's going to be worse than my mayonnaise king?"
No, it can't be.
I mean, how bad could it be? It won't be that bad.
No, it won't be that bad.
it won't be that bad, but I love how Rob's like, the moment somebody says he's the next Cam Ward, walk out of the room. Although he is this year's Cam Ward. But look, Cam Ward is not Josh Allen, but he is a guy who has gone small school prodigy where he was at, went from UIW to the Pac-12 back when the Pac-12 was still the Pac-12, competed against the best in that conference and was arguably one of, if not the best quarterback in the Pac-12 when he played for Washington State, learned that offense, and then went to a completely different offense to another school in Miami and had them in playoff contention until the final week of the year. So do I think any of these guys are ready day one? I don't. But I do think there's some people in this draft. I think Cam Ward's one of them. I think in the right situation, I think Shedeur Sanders could be a really good quarterback in the NFL at some point. And I also really like Jackson Dart, and I wouldn't put it past a Quinn Ewers to potentially develop into something down the road. Now, are any of these guys going to be the future face of the NFL, like, Burrow or Mahomes or Josh Allen? Probably not. But could they be in that Jalen Hurts, work your way into being one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL discussion? Absolutely. But remember, it's much about finding the right scheme for a player and finding yourself in the right situation at the right time as anything else. That's what it comes to for not just quarterbacks, but players in the NFL in general. Like, some transcend. Those are the greats, the all-time greats. But a lot of people, like Sam Darnold this year, you just got to find yourself in the right situation at the right time and the right scheme. And I think that says a lot for a lot of different players in the NFL. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I see Martin on the line, wants to talk some U of H hoops, so we'll talk some college hoops when we come back right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh.
Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Oof, got a dash light on? The AutoZone free Fix Finder service can read your check engine, ABS, and other warning lights to help you find the fix. You'll get an easy-to-read report with clear next steps. And we can recommend a trusted local shop if you need one. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service with shop referral. Only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 16. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Appreciate y'all for rolling through with me on this Friday night as we are about to head into the weekend. It's always a good thing. Sam saying, look, Cam is more Russell Wilson than Josh Allen, and that's okay. Wilson was a product of the system, much like Purdy, much like Jalen Hurts, much like 75 to 80% of quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think many overcome the scheme. I think a lot of them are probably products of their scheme or system or what they're in, and that's fine because everybody likes to call Kyle Shanahan the quarterback whisperer. But outside of, getting what the maximum out of a Jimmy Garoppolo while he was there, he tried to find a quarterback, couldn't until he stumbled into Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy fit that system and what it called for him, what it does, and how fast you got to process and throwing with anticipation and things like that. Look, most quarterbacks in the league are a byproduct of their system. And some are really good at their system, and that makes them really good quarterbacks. Hell, Peyton Manning was a little bit of a system guy. He took his system to Denver, and Gary Kubiak kind of scrapped his to be able to do what Peyton did best for the most part, because Peyton didn't want to run that zone run scheme, play action boot that Kubiak and the Shanahan style offenses are crazy for, because he wasn't as mobile, especially after that neck surgery. Like, that's just the NFL. That is, you don't put a zone corner in man to man. You just don't. There are exceptions to the rule, but they're few and far between. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pleasure here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The Final Four is coming up. The Blitz spoke with Jenny Carnes a little bit earlier today, the CEO of San Antonio Sports, to get us ready for all the festivities and things that are happening. But who are some of those teams we could be seeing on the Riverwalk this year? Well, I know one team somebody wants to see. Martin, what's going on? Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledge, my man. I know you wanted to talk some college hoops.
How you doing, Pledge?
I'm always good. How you doing, Martin?
Houston will be there.
Houston will be there. Not going out on much of a limb there. They're the fourth-ranked team in the country and a likely 1 seed.
No, they're legit, dude. This team is.
They've been legit.
They're ready to be legit.
So,
Man, this team is. They're on. If one person, a Crier, if he's not on, they got somebody to step in.
Yeah, they got LJ Crier, they got Milos Uzan. I mean, they've got some dogs on that team, and their forwards
Roberts too, right?
Yeah, Juwan Roberts,
Man,
Joseph Trugler, like they've got some players, but they are only about 7 deep.
Yeah, but they got a coach though.
Huh?
Coaching is a premium.
Sure, but you got to remember too, coaching's at a premium, but so is when you're 6-7 deep. Foul trouble can kill you, especially in the tournament.
They'll be all right.
Injuries can derail you. Like these are things that have derailed Houston before. I mean, foul trouble and injuries are things because they keep their bench so incredibly short that they leave themselves very little room or margin for error when it comes to a one and done situation.
They will be good because everybody doubted them when it came to Big 12, like blah, blah, blah. But you know what? They've dominated the Big 12.
They have. They're a very good team. They're going to be a 1 seed. They're not a bad team. I'm saying they leave themselves a very small window in terms of keeping such a short bench because foul trouble or injuries can derail your tournament run.
They're going to do it.
All right. I hear you.
I know it. And what's the next year? They're even better next year.
They will be better. Kelvin Sampson's recruiting his butt off, man.
I mean, these guys don't care about scoring. They want, they want to play defense, and I'll be there.
I hope for your sake they are there, my man.
They're gonna do it. Come on, please.
We don't even know what the brackets look like yet. We don't know who's in their bracket, who's in their region, like what their road to San Antonio looks like. That is a very difficult thing because seeding is important.
I know, but as long as no one gets hurt, they'll win it all.
That's a big if, man. That is a big if. You come down, pulling down a rebound and twist an ankle, and we saw this a couple of years ago with Shaheed. Like, it killed their tournament hopes. Because he was playing on a bum ankle because he rolled it.
Yeah, Sasha got hurt and Crowder got hurt.
We've seen this before. And like I said, Martin, I like them if they stay healthy and if they can stay out of foul trouble in the tournament. But all it takes is one team with a dominant big that can exploit them down low and get them in foul trouble early to completely disrupt the momentum of not just a game, but their potential run in a tournament. Seeding and matchups are important in the tournament.
I like the guy from transfer from Colorado, though.
Yeah. Like I said, their roster is great, but Roberts, Tugler, Uzan, Crier, Sharp, Arno, and Francis, that's about as deep as they go. Malik Wilson may play a little, but other than that, that's their bench. They go 7 deep. They have 3 guys on their bench that they trust. That is a dangerous proposition.
We're going to do it, though. We're going to do it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Martin. And I hope they do. They're really good. And if they stay out of foul trouble and they get a good seeding, and if they can avoid injury, they could very, very easily find themselves here in San Antonio. But depending how they get seated, I mean, you look at what it could look like with Houston, whether Tennessee or Alabama, Michigan State can muddle up a game. Texas A&M can make things very, very difficult. And then you've got other teams, like they had a very difficult time putting away Arizona a few nights ago that were ranked 22nd. What if Arizona ends up in their bracket as a lower seed? And that's not to mention some of those just Cinderella teams that come out of nowhere that kind of surprise us all and we all fall in love with after the first weekend. Those are very, very interesting and dangerous propositions to just be like, we're going to be there. Yeah, you're one of the favorites to likely end up there, but to act like your ticket's punched and you're cutting down the nets already, that's fandom, my man. Because if you can't see the writing on the wall of Auburn being extremely good this year, Duke with Cooper Flagg, like that team, I would love to see here in San Antonio, because Cooper Flagg to me is one of the most intriguing prospects coming up in this draft, likely number 1 overall pick if he declares. And who knows, maybe that's why the Spurs aren't trying to win games right now, to get that one final piece before they make a run into postseason return. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. I appreciate all of y'all for rolling through with me today as we bid you farewell into the week. And remember, call your loved ones, check on them. You never know what people are going through in life. Simple, hey, how you doing can change a person's outlook. We'll see you on Monday right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
94.1 FM. The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Big John and Jackson, 68 GTO.
It's a 69. It's called the half breed. Remember when they changed them over from the GTOs to the Le Mans?
Well, this is a GG car then, because I mean, if you've seen a picture of her, she looks like she's a half breed.
Damn, she's one of a kind, and I love her.
Love you too.
The John Clay